Hello and welcome to another topic of this subject translation and interpretation course. As you already know, this week we are not going to have a video conference. This is why we are going to talk about the topic in this video. We are going to substitute the video conference for the Congress. So it's necessary to discuss the topic that we are going to develop, and it is note-taking. If you already know, if you already remember, one of the main skills that an interpreter needs to have is note-taking. It is basically when you are taking note of the speaker's speech and you are taking note of the most important words, data, numbers, names of people, phrases, or some other information that you consider important for the message. And I know that interpretation is a skill that needs to be developed and practiced, but note taking helps you to do this properly. What are some pieces of advice that you need to consider? Well, you need to take notes quickly. Don't wait for the right word. You are doing this at the moment, so don't waste too much time thinking about the specific words or symbols that you're going to use in note taking. Try to use only one side of the page. You have a notebook for doing a note taking, so try to use just one side of the page. Right side or left side, it doesn't matter, but try to use only one side. Use a pencil, obviously. Don't use pen because it's better to use pencil. You have to read, you have to write down readable notes. Okay, try to write something that you can understand later on. Also, try to use a large letter size. Don't use a smaller size because it's going to be almost impossible to read your notes. Try to use a specific abbreviation, non-ambiguous ones. For example, this one, and it will mean a lot of things, so try to use the specific abbreviation, okay, non-ambiguous ones. You can also create your own symbols, but try to use symbols that are meaningful for you and symbols that you can understand, okay? What you should jot down? Well, main ideas, as I was saying. You are listening to the person, you are listening to the speaker, and try to get the main ideas. Also, numbers, dates, names of people, geographical names, abbreviation of acronyms that are important. Some technical terms are necessary to take note of them, and sequence of ideas. You can use connectors for doing that connection between those two or three phrases. Also, verb tenses are important. If the thing or the situation that the person is saying happened in past, it's important for you to represent that in your notes. And also, you can take notes of some introduction and conclusion phrases and some other keywords that you consider important. And pay attention, you don't have to write down entire sentences or phrases. Not only you are going to take notes of those things that are important, just keywords, okay? As I was saying here, the specific names of people, data, numbers, or some other things that are necessary for the message. There are some examples of abbreviations, as you can see here. This is mostly from medical field. As you can see, abbreviation like BX for biopsy, H for hours, D for day, W and K for week, and there are some other examples that are really common in medical field. Here are some symbols and abbreviations that are applied for any other field that you can imagine. For example, here, years, at, with. For example, here, government, minimum or least, maximum, between. There are some abbreviations, as you can see, that you can apply in any other type of field, not only medical, but also for law or for other type of for example, conferences or meetings that you have. And also you can create your own symbols, but try to create symbols that are meaningful, that you can understand later on. As you can see here, this is like promise, agree, it's like okay symbol, listen, or here you write down or you create a symbol of a ear here. For say, thanks, you can create them. It doesn't not matter if you can create them, but try to, as I was saying, use symbols that are meaningful and symbols that you can understand later. This is an example of a speech or something that someone was saying. And say 60 years old female patient was diagnosed with a urinary tract infection. As you can see, it's about medical things, and this is a note taking that you can perceive here. As you can see, we use a lot of symbols. We are using just one side of the page, and pay attention here, the person is writing down lines because each one of these lines represents an idea. This is the way when you have to separate the different ideas of the message. This is another example. If you have a notebook like this one, there are some notebooks that have a line between, a line in the middle. You can use both lines, both sides, in order to write down the note. Here you are using first the left side, and then you are using the right side, but as you can see, we are starting just in one side of the page. This is basically what you have to do when you are taking notes. And I'm going to explain briefly what are you going to do. As you remember, we are going to have the Congress, so you are going to be in that Congress on Thursday, and you are 2 sessions in that day. What are you going to do? Well, you are going to apply this technique, taking note. You are going to listen or pay attention of 10 to 15 minutes of a speech of one of these speakers, and you are going to take note of the important and necessary things that the person is saying during that time. You are doing this in your notebook, right? And okay, you are listening to the person and you are representing the message by using different abbreviation of different symbols. And you are going to do it in this way, like this, right? You are starting in just one side of the page. Then, because you are using symbols, you are going to do it in one page, the symbols, but in another page you are going to give me the meaning of those symbols, of those abbreviations that you use. So you are going to take 2 pictures of your work, one of all the symbols that you use, and the other picture it's about the meaning of those symbols. So, and later you are going to upload those pictures in Canvas. This is basically what you are going to do. Apply note-taking techniques to the speeches in the Congress, and one page is going to be just for the symbols, and the other page is going to be used for the meaning. You have to explain me the meaning of those abbreviations of those symbols that you use.